So
what else do we got?
Bobito, before we come back, because we got a lot of, we should stretch the now playing out since we have so much of it. Week before last, Bobito wanted to tell a tale from Texas. And now's your shot. You only got one shot. What would you do?
Why didn't you tell it? Why didn't you tell it last time?
We ran out of time. Remember?
Oh,
we were crunched.
We got oodles of it now.
Yeah. Well, I'd gone down to Plano, Texas, which is actually where my wife grew up, but it's where Gearbox has their offices. So that was kind of surreal to visit the town where I finished high school and everything. And there's actually games being made and crazy stuff to do. But one of the things that I did,
to take a business trip to your high school.
Yeah,
town.
it was weird and it was in they're in the top four floors of the Bank of America building in Plano, which is the tallest building in Plano, Texas, which is 17 floors or something. So they have, status there. But one of the things I did was I went out and shot some guns with Colonel Antal, the military advisor guy for.
Oh, is that the guy they bring out all the time?
Yeah. But
I'm not dissing him. He's kind of scary.
Yeah, it was.
That's the guy who Mark Rain, when he was giving a demo, and Mark Rain was sitting there, and Antal was talking about how it was an emotional roller coaster, and Rain said that. He just commented on the fact that John used to use those very same hands to choke the life out of men, and at this point he's using them to hide his tears from playing his own video games. That's the perspective on
oh my god, wow.
Awesome. Complete portrait of this character. No?
Yeah. He's got an unusual job there. They've got him writing a couple of books. One of them has the Brothers in Arms name, like a historical fiction book.
That is pretty
historical
fucking weird,
fiction,
man.
and then like
I gotta say, I think I object to this now. Now it's going a little too far.
Yeah. Well,
don't tell that to
this is what.
Well, they're supposed to be basing this game on Hell's Highway, the book.
Yeah.
And now they're, what the hell? It's coming out the other side of the Looking Glass now as a fictionalized World War II story based on a game.
It's not.
Give me a fucking break.
So let me play devil's advocate and say that when they found the guy, I guess he'd written a couple of historical fiction books that they had read and enjoyed, and so that's why they sought him out to begin with. And so that's what he does in general. And I guess that they're just tying it in with the Brothers in Arms thing. I don't think that it has anything to do with the game necessarily.
Just the name.
And
they are working on a musical too, I hear.
But he's also doing like a non-fiction book, which I didn't quite catch the gist of. But anyway, we go out to this gun range a couple miles away from their office to shoot some like a World War II like M1 and a couple other guns. And we go in there, and of course it's fucking bizarre because it's a Texas gun shop, and the guys behind the counter have guns in holsters on them.
Yeah,
because you're allowed to wear that. And that's funny or whatever. But we're standing around waiting for our lane, and the guys who work at the shop know Antal and all the Gearbox people because they bring people over to shoot all the time.
Yeah.
And they start pitching games at him. Like what? Like little young guys, like, you guys need to make a game about the Marines, man. You got to make a Marines game, and just giving them all this stuff, and so Antal goes into this explanation of this is what Brothers in Arms is all about, and he starts talking about how it's all about giving you like 8 days of a military experience, and they're gonna take Brothers in Arms from World War II all the way up to modern day someday, and they were going to do all these different games, and I made this offhand comment, that I didn't really. It came out wrong. I said, yeah, if you did Brothers in Arms Baghdad, it would be like 7 days of playing Xbox followed by 1 day of getting blown up. And it was so fucking awkward because what I meant to comment on was just that it's notoriously boring over there.
The waiting around time.
Right.
Yeah. I used to read EGM's letters for them, right? And we would get letters all the time from soldiers who would say that it's really boring and they spend most of their time sitting in the barracks playing video games and stuff.
Right.
And,
right. Yeah, we get those letters too. We get that about this podcast.
Yeah,
thank you for entertaining us because we sit around in the
And you're not commenting. And there's no value statement there. You're just
were just saying.
I've heard that
there's a lot of waiting.
But I think what he saw when I said it was like he knew that I was that I live in Berkeley, California.
Right.
So when he heard that, I think he thought it was a jab.
Immediately,
and so he like launched into a defense of it, and I'm trying to like
of what of the war?
Of the war in general, how we got to stick it out and blah blah blah. And I'm trying not to even get into the argument because
these guys are wearing guns.
Yeah, well, and even like their Gearbox's PR was with us, and her husband is in Baghdad and stuff.
Right.
And I don't even want to have this conversation.
Right.
I'm not trying to offend anyone, and it was just really fucking awkward. And I'm always having these awkward things happen to me. And I don't know why.
Did anyone were they like yelling at you?
No, it was basically that I got a lecture.
Goddamn problem.
I got a lecture all the way back to the office in the truck.
Did anyone tell you to go to Cuba?
No, I was not fighting it. I was just like, yep, true, yep, okay.
Did you get a chance to explain them about the whole?
Yeah, I think I tried to, but I think the idea.
We know what you meant, you hippie.
Of some long-haired hippie like myself, not cool.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that. It's a Borat issue right there.
Yeah. But he was a nice guy, and it felt a lot more safe shooting guns around somebody who actually is teaching me what to do.
Oh,
than the
absolutely.
time that I shot guns with Sean Elliott and the EGM crew.
I taught
and
you
they're
well.
shooting fucking dirty hairy guns and laughing
Pointing at each other's faces.
Yeah. Like it's a fucking episode.
I got
of
the picture on
Jackass
my cell phone. I got the picture on my cell phone of the target with his nuts shot out.
No, I mean Sean was being good, but it definitely felt.
It was Sean Baby, and
Yeah.
that was really I was
It
chill,
felt a
man.
little frat house.
I was actually mad because the people next to us had Doomcock, which is it's the Smith & Wesson Model 50, Model 500, right? I'm getting it wrong. And it's Model 500. It's a 50 caliber revolver. And
All of a sudden, it's gun talk.
it's entirely
the hell?
Yeah, but real quick, because it's it's part of the mentality to paint you a picture. If you've never been to ranges, it's like there's always some family there, and they got pride and joy. And it's like in this case, it was the Smith & Wesson 500. And if you've seen it, it makes it makes the Dirty Harry Magnum look like a toy.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. It's like a gun. It's from a video game. It's a gun from a video game. And it's the most. It sounds like a cannon going off every time. And I was actually like, okay, this is annoying. Because we're trying to shoot, and I guess it was good field conditions if you wanted to see how you could fire under insane distraction. But
It was really because it wasn't just loud. It would actually split the air around you.
Yeah.
So it would physically shake you, and you're sitting there trying to shoot, and just every minute you'd hear this giant bang and shake your body. And by the time I left, I felt like I had post-traumatic stress syndrome or something. I was just like,
You needed to get back to Berkeley and eat some mashed yeast. Feel better.
yeah.
Is that one of those
go
guns that
back to
pierce
Whole
an
Foods.
engine block or something? Or
no, I doubt this would fire from that. I mean, you're probably thinking of a rifle version of 50 caliber, but this thing, because of the barrel and stuff, I bet that the slug it's got to slow down after any significant distance.
I've only been in
why would you have this kind of weapon at home?
Really. Doomcock,
I know
man.
more about the Needler.
Well, the same reason if you're
guns.
no, should we get the expedition or the excursion?
Yeah, sure.
Or the Yukon?
Yeah. It's bigger. That one's bigger.
All right,
Get that one.
we're getting some hate mail now.
Yeah, we are. I've only been in a gun shop once, and it's because an old freelancer of ours, Rafael Libertori, a great guy who has he has a military background and
Special forces.
lots of experience in special forces, and he took Robert Coffey and I out shooting in San Diego, and he brought us into a gun shop to use their indoor range, and we didn't have to check out guns there because he had an entire arsenal
Stored there
in his house.
Oh, that he brought.
Yeah, he
okay.
we went down into his secret locked up room where he had it was scary. It was something out of like a 24 terrorist scene, grab the machine guns. That's what it was like. So anyway, we loaded up this whole locker thing full of guns, and we drove over to this shop, and I'd never been in a gun shop before because I'm just not that kind of person. And but the thing that I remember the most was as we were in the gun shop and filling out the little form to use their range, they had for sale behind the counter paper targets to use. And I'm used to from Boy Scouts, back in the day, they had just the circles, your old standard bullseye. They had target sheets that were They were silhouettes of different ethnicities. You know? Yeah.
I thought I was waiting for the Osama thing. I'm like, well,
it was kind of like
before
that.
and depending on the decade in which you go to the range, then it was Hussein, and then it was Khomeini, and then it was.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. I don't mean they
Gaddafi.
Had like, would you like to shoot a Jew today? It wasn't like that. I mean, there was all like variations on like, but it was like the silhouette was like clearly an Arabic guy.
How can you tell with the silhouette? Was he wearing like some
clothing?
Yeah, and the hat and the big beard and
a kebab in his hand. I mean, what the dude? It's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it was obvious.
So
Yeah.
You're going to get in trouble. Someone's going to say,
Why?
hey, if you join the armed forces now and you're going to a combat zone,
I'm not
making
any.
that silhouette will resemble.
I'm not making any judgment about it. I'm saying it was startling to me because I'd never been in a gun shop before.
Yeah.
Last gun.
It's startling to fire any gun when you
Well,
realize what it
and
can
shooting
do
the
and
gun
you realize what it's
itself
made
was
for.
really
It's a sobering experience.
It is. Yeah,
The
they're
thing that
heavy
I
and they're
thought-
powerful.
I hadn't shot any handguns until I went with John, and the thing I realized is that if I'm ever like stuck up by someone and I'm like more than 6 feet away, I'm gonna fucking run because they're not gonna hit me. Like
They will, though.
man,
Just because you couldn't fire it.
They've been
doesn't
playing
mean
Mad
they
Dog
can.
McCree. They're ready for that shit.
but I think it takes.
Those are murder simulators.
I think it takes pretty good practice,
Right.
to be a good
But
shot.
that's
and I
the
think
thing.
a lot.
Most
I think a
people that
lot
own
of
guns
fools
go
like
very
robbing
regularly.
people
Shoot 'em,
on the
right.
street with guns aren't really getting a lot of target practice.
Right.
Well,
know?
you try running then.
I just
Wait, if you had the gun
yeah.
yourself, you wouldn't shoot. You would run.
Oh no! If I was being
No.
robbed, I just mean that
You're
it's so
robbed.
hard to really like hit someone with a.
Or walk sideways.
It's
Give
a
them a
hell
hard
of a lot
target.
harder
I
with a
just-
handgun than you would think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty unsteady. Like compared to firing a rifle, like I'm a really good shot with a rifle.
Maybe we should try this out. Let's go rob some people. See how well we do.
test like and we'll do 40%
paintball
will
gun.
run, 40% will stay, and then we'll have a control group who we just shoot.
No, just stay in. That's a false control.
Who's gonna have the clipboard on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ryan.
I'll operate the gun.
Have you
Ryan's
ever
just been over
shot
here.
a gun,
I have not. I'm like you.
Sean Malloy? Well,
No.
I've
Never.
shot one, but it was
Well-
very odd.
Never did.
You
My
should shoot
dad's
a gun
got,
just to know how to shoot it, just in case. Like, I mean, it's a life skill. Like, you don't want to not know
just
how to
in
shoot a
case.
gun.
What does that mean? If you don't own one,
Well, you
Well,
could
what
be
if
in a
one falls
situation-
on the ground?
You've
in a
played
dangerous
enough video
situation?
games to know that in the first level, someone goes, "Here, take this gun."
all right. Or I'm going to find one on the ground.
Yeah.
next
And
to
all
a
hell breaks
barrel.
loose.
Or you see,
A gun will find its way to you after a wrench or something.
There's enough,
Oh, thank God! I've upgraded from this wrench. Now that this guy's chasing me.
there's enough out there that during World War IV, surely
Well-
they'll scatter across the road and
They all have aim assist these days, right?
actually,
yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
just check any chest. You're gonna
When the
find one.
zombies attack.
Just make sure it has an alt fire on it for your second mouse button.